Good morning and welcome to a very special talk show. So Pokhara Avengers is bringing you one of the finest cricketers ever, the legend of a game, an individual who changed the whole concept of fielding in the cricketing world. His name is equivalent to what cricket is in the modern era. It is my immense pleasure to have with me the legend Jonty Rhodes. Good morning, Jonty.
Good morning, Kieran.
How is the experience of coming in Nepal for the third time, if I'm not wrong?
Yeah, it's great to be back. I must say, you almost forget, having worked so many years in India, that there's just across the border, there's a real passion for the game. I've had the opportunity to come in and work in some of the leagues here, coach the under-19, work with the women's team, and even come on a holiday with my family here. So I've seen a bit of everything, and great to be back again.
Wonderful. And it is our pleasure to have you with Pokhara Avengers for this season of NPL. Really exciting. Everything is set. Everyone's pumped now. We're just around the corner before the tournament kicks off. What do you make out of the franchise league that's happening in Nepal?
Well, it's so important for the development of the game. I've obviously, worked throughout the inception of the IPL way back 2008, 2009, and I've seen what it has done for cricket in India. We now have a similar league in South Africa, the SA20. In the Caribbean, there's been a strong league, and in Australia, even in England, they've brought in the 100. So it's such a wonderful platform for young players, and even some of the past players who've sort of been left out of the national teams to show what they can do. And I think for me, it's important for two reasons. One, it gives young players in Nepal a great platform to showcase their skills. But the second thing is that it gets them to work with international cricketers and past players like myself in the coaching setup. And that is where I think the greatest benefit is going to be, because you can work really hard in the nets, but when you're playing in a game with somebody who's got international experience, there is nothing like it for young players. So that, I think, I'm really excited to see young Nepalese players, not so young Nepalese players, but sort of rubbing shoulders with international cricketers, and that will really grow the game here very quickly.
Absolutely. So the beauty of the franchise game is you are playing with your domestic players along with some of the big names in international cricket, and when it's mentored by a legend like you, the learning, the experience is really different. As we always say, we are always the student of cricket. Nobody's mastered in the game. That's what we were talking about earlier as well. In your opinion, how do you think the youngsters should be having their mindset, like the upcoming players who are participating for the first time in the franchise league? In your opinion, what are some of the key points that they need to remember as they are playing the big tournament for the first time ever?
Well, I think it is always interesting because, I've obviously worked with national teams as well. So you select a player for the work that they've done in state level. Suddenly they get brought up into the international side and they think they've got to change their game. Yes, the intensity is slightly different, but the key thing is that the reason why we've selected you is for the skills that you have, for the way that you play. And sometimes your role might have to be adjusted slightly depending on the team requirements. But I think the most important thing is for the young players, the mindset you have is now you can't suddenly change the way you've been playing, because cricket is a game of habit, and whatever you've been doing, you can't change in 2 weeks and during the tournament. So just do what you're doing. The reason why you've been selected and chosen is because of these skills that you have. But I think the mindset for me has always been you'll hear about hard work and it requires hard work to be successful, yes, but it also requires you to work smart. And I think I was really fortunate growing up in South Africa. My father was a schoolmaster, principal. He was also a sports master, and he just sort of stressed to me at a very young age that it's your teachers and your coaches will always talk about practice makes perfect. And he said, "No, that's half the story, because it's perfect practice that makes perfect." So as a cricket player, it certainly assisted me. Now as a coach, I'm ensuring that if I'm a fielding coach and it's the hottest time of the year in India, I'm not asking the players to work on their fielding for an extra half an hour. Just give me 7 minutes of match-like intensity. And I think that's the difference for the younger players. Bring the skills that you have, but on occasions you might have to up your intensity, and especially in your practice and your preparation. Because once you step over onto the field, it's almost too late if you haven't brought that intensity to your game. You can't now bring your A game suddenly. So I think that's a slight difference from what they've been playing.
What a wonderful lesson from Jonty. The thing is, what he is trying to say in short is keep your basics right, keep it to the simple. You are in the team because you have got that one special skill, which is what the team is requiring. So stick to your strength rather than trying to copy somebody else. Be yourself. Don't try to be another Jonty Rhodes, but try to be the first who you are. I think that's how you can be a better cricketer. Yes, the technicalities is always you can learn from the greats of the game, but the beauty of cricket is you be yourself. Virat never tried to be Sachin Tendulkar. Rohit Sharma never tried to be VVS Lakshman or somebody else. Or even if you talk about the modern cricketers from Australia, Cameron Green never tried to be Ricky Ponting. So that was their essence. So bring your essence into the game and learn from the very best. Okay, let's give a bit of break for cricket and talk about the tourism in Nepal. I'm very sure you've been here like twice already. This is the third time. You have been to some of the trekkings with your family. How was the experience? How do you see Nepal as a country?
Well, I have, I've traveled across, not a lot of Nepal, but I've certainly seen some of the highlights. I've also been to Chitwan, the National Reserve, and amazed that, because in South Africa we have national parks, and rhino horn poaching was a massive issue. I was just amazed at how the Nepalese army had got involved and were really protecting the environment here, especially around the sort of poaching of the rhino. So I've been really fortunate in that we're an outdoor active family. So walking is a big part of our lifestyle. We don't go to the gym and a training regime. So we love being outdoors. And when it comes to tourism here in Nepal, you have such great options, and really fortunate to have experienced some of the nature reserves and then just being in nature. So good to see. I mean, the hotel is full of foreign guests, and it's quite an interesting mix of people here. And we have, as I said, we have experienced the best of it.
Great. And one of the things that Pokhara Avengers have come up with is preserving the environment, the climate change, the melting of glacier, which is a bigger problem in the environmental thing. And Nepal being so much blessed with the natural beauty and stuff, one of the worrying factor at the moment is the climate change and the impact it's bringing into the lives. As you have traveled all around the world, have been to different parts of the world, what do you think about the impact of current climate change, and how can a sport related franchise or any other institution can contribute to it?
Well, it's actually a really interesting question, because having grown up in South Africa, worked a great deal in India, lived in Sweden for 2.5 years, where for them, I mean, climate change is a real issue. Sustainability is something that drives their business. They always talk about doing good, as in profitability by doing good. So it's not a case of, well, you have to sacrifice profit for looking after the environment or changing your ways to a more greener approach. It really can go hand in hand, and needs to go hand in hand. And I think the key message for me, and it's great that the Pokhara Avengers have done this, is that we always sort of think, well, it's too big an issue for us. What difference can we make? And as a fielding coach, I've always just stressed to my players that each player saves 1 run. In the T20 game, if each player saves 1 run, that's 11 runs. And a lot of the times the games are so close, 1 run makes that difference. So we can make a difference, just small contribution. So especially here for us, plastic is a massive issue. When plastic was invented, it was seen as a real convenience and assistance to communities. But we've just seen how it's really ruined so many places and so many things. So teams can sport can just convey the message and make a difference. You know, it doesn't have to be earth-shattering in what you're doing, but it's raising the awareness and you getting in and, you know, almost changing the way of thinking in your community, in your home. So yes, you know, you can make a difference, and it's great to see us as a team are looking to do that.
Wonderful. So Pokhara Avengers is actually advocating for preserving the environment, minimizing the use of plastics, saving our beautiful Himalayas and the lakes. As you can see, like Pheva Lake, it's looking beautiful. We want our future generations to witness and enjoy the blessing of that Mother Nature has given to us. So for that, in our dressing room and in the hotels we're staying, we are trying to minimize as much plastic consumption as we can. That is one of the primary things that we're starting in the Pokhara Avengers camp. So Jonty, before we leave, one last question. How exciting is it for you to being associated with the franchise club Pokhara Avengers for the upcoming NPL?
Well, I think that the most exciting part is having had a brief touch with cricket in Nepal way back, and this is 2019, and looking forward to seeing the changes and being a part of a franchise that's obviously been here from the outset and has sort of established roots here in T20 cricket in Nepal. So I'm really looking forward to it. Some of the names that we have lined up internationally and domestically, it's going to be a great mix of talent and you know, some of the players are sheer excitement, and looking forward to being a part of that team. And you know, as you said at the beginning, we are all students of the game. No matter how many years experience I have of playing and of coaching, I am still learning. So, and I think that is the beauty of another thing about franchise cricket. You've got players and staff from all over the world who we play the same game, but you know, with a slightly different accent, just because of the way we've been brought up and the conditions that we've been exposed to. So looking forward to bringing my experience and also learning from the players and the teammates of the Pokhara Avengers.
Absolutely, we're blessed to have you among us, and the players are really excited to meet you, which we'll be doing in the latest stage today. Jonty, thank you very much for your time, and we again welcome you to Pokhara Avengers, and we will keep on learning from one of the very best in the world. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, so that was the legend himself, Jonty Rhodes. We'll be bringing some more episodes with him because he is in Nepal for quite a limited time, and we will want to make the maximum out of it. Thank you for your time, and stay tuned for more updates, and keep supporting Pokhara Avengers.